Remember
You're
that was
here
the
now.
plan.
You don't have to
Okay.
pop. You don't, unless you want to pop.
No, I want to pop.
You want to pop?
Hey, the other day I talked about this crazy Lindsay. When I hear that, I'll pop in.
Okay.
I have a dragon.
Everybody, I'm here in Scottsdale, Arizona, and we've got some info for you. We've got we've got Lindsay we've been talking to you about. She's a lady who will help you get your house set up on a lot, and she's got a way of making this happen to where it'll help you alleviate a lot of the headaches to get your house certified, get with the zoning. Lindsay.
What? Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh!
She's a pop-in girl. There you go.
So for those of you that heard about me on Randy's channel,
Yep.
Hello, nice to meet you in person. I'm the person that you shared all the emails to, and
Yep.
so many people have
Did
been
you
coming
get-
our way.
Really?
Oh, yes.
So it's been responsive.
Yeah, people don't just listen to you, Randy, and just kind of disappear.
Yeah.
They hear you, they believe you, they trust you.
Yep.
He's a trustable guy.
Yep.
Look at what he's doing. Look at what he's done, right? I
Yep.
didn't even know of you, and I saw your area, what you've been able to do with your property, building tiny homes. I get all emotional, but we got
Yeah.
things to talk about.
That's right.
So what we're going to talk about, what Randy may not have shared with you all, and what I really specialize in, is talking about the 4 types of tiny homes. There's a lot of things I talk about, but this one, everybody needs to know. So, ready for the 4? Okay. Number 1, movable tiny home, not a standard.
What is
A
it
lot of
called?
people see it.
Movable?
Movable tiny home is
Okay.
where many places around the country have been legalized as movable, like Santa Cruz, right? Just got the city of
What is
County of
this?
Santa Cruz.
Is this a movable?
This is a movable,
Okay.
but there is no standard for it.
Okay.
So when you build the Incredibox, you need to build it to the NFPA or the ANSI standard.
Which we do.
Both of them, or which one?
Both of them.
Both of them.
Yep.
Okay. So NFPA, think your pop-up trailer, your camper, motorhome, fifth wheel, all those things. That is the NFPA. But notice, temporary living. That's the issue for many
Right.
places that see them as RVs.
Right.
We see them as tiny homes. Other jurisdictions might see them as RVs,
Right.
right? Then there's the ANSI, it gets bigger, right? We get ANSI park model RV, up to 400 square feet, also temporary living. So that's kind of where they're
How
all
can that
kind
be
of,
temporary living if it's a park model? People live in them.
good point. People live in them year round,
Year
but
round.
the standard for which it was designed, temporary. I know it's crazy, life isn't always fair, right?
Yeah. Well, I've probably built 1,800 homes, and they've all been built within that right there.
Exactly,
It's
and people
working.
are living in permanently.
It's working. Yeah.
However, there's
Go.
standards and rules and all the things that we have to change. I
Number
call it
3.
The tiny home revolution with
Yeah.
a big capital evolution.
Right.
There's where the evolution comes into. Number 3, if you are in an area where you're not allowed to put a movable tiny home built to NFPA or ANSI standards, you need to build them to IRC, which is state standard, or HUD, which is
Right.
Housing Urban Development. Both are for permanent placement. Built in a factory, arrives on wheels,
Right.
put to ground permanently.
Right.
The other cool thing about permanent, they appreciate the land value. Versus these two will always be personal property. They will not appreciate your land value unless you know someone like Dave the contractor.
Where's
Introducing Dave?
Where's Dave?
Dave! So what I just said unless. So Dave, tell us about your quick, brief history of manufactured home builds and sites.
Okay, so I've been doing manufactured homes forever. We put them on foundations, tie down systems, and usually we deal with HUD. So our latest thing is the tiny home industry. We are getting them certified to the IRC standard, installing them on private property. And if we do a foundation, we have foundation systems. Okay, they're retrofit foundation systems. We can install it, record it with the county, and now it's real property. So we have a few tricks. Okay, and it's called the magic wand.
The magic wand of Dave the contractor
Yep.
and knowing what you're talking about, the building standards,
Right.
the zoning laws, all of it's like a puzzle, right? And we got to know when you go talk to certain people, you got to know what puzzle parts you're talking about, what words they're talking about, all those
Exactly.
things. So when you come to us,
You handle
we
all that.
work with all of that because the builders are busy building, right? You don't have time to be the university.
Exactly.
But you do that
That's
with
why
your
we
YouTube
got
channel.
you out there, yeah.
But when us, people like us, I don't build. I just educate and connect people to the right people.
Perfect.
There you
Yeah,
go.
so our goal for the builders is to create a successful sale, right? So at the end of the day, everything's permitted and installed where it's required to be permitted. So that's what I do. That's what I help out with.
Right. So you would go into let's say somebody wanted one in this county.
Yeah.
You would go and find out if you didn't know the zoning laws,
Sure.
the codes.
We look at all the setbacks. We look at all the codes that the county requires for ADUs, for accessory dwelling units, and then we do some really tricky reverse engineering to make that happen.
Right.
Okay. So this is what my team does, and then we'll actually do the infrastructure. We'll do the installation of the home itself. We can handle all that. So that's what we do. That's
So
what
you
I've
would
been
be
doing
like,
for
they bought a
years.
home from me, to get a hold of you.
Nope, they get a hold of me.
Yeah.
Go to me first.
Yep.
Reason why?
I forgot about her. I thought she was in here.
The reason why is that everyone has their lane.
Yeah.
I have the big
Exactly.
picture,
Mhm.
right? Who you need to know,
Do all these
where are
connections.
you? I mean, obviously they already know the builder because they're coming to you.
Yep.
They want the Incredibox. They want to put it somewhere. And then based on, they're going to learn about their zoning. And then in the bundle of the Go Tiny Academy, which is what you get when you get the bundle for $397, you get Dave's step 1, which is a site survey.
Got it.
That is all bundled for you, and then you can learn about other things that are related to the tiny home lifestyle. Not just, it could be financing.
Right.
You know, what are
Right.
some areas of financing?
You fill them
What
full
are-
of knowledge of all these things they wouldn't have thought about.
There you go. And then
Right.
we do Zoom calls as well every week. So you're not just like off with a video and now you're done,
Yeah.
just like YouTube, right? We want to have more interactivity.
Right.
What if people want to do multiples, right? What if they want to develop? We have a whole group and a team that are doing investment and development as well.
Good.
So there's a lot of people out there that don't want to just do a tiny home. They want to build community.
Sure.
They want to do a multi-generational family lot. There's more involved than that. You know, it's called land. And it starts with a survey, then boots on the ground. Not those boots. Those are dress boots, okay? But something like
better
those
boots
boots.
than
No, it'd
Not
be
these
these boots
boots.
right there.
These boots are made
Yeah,
for
like
walking.
that.
That's a work boot.
So then, after you do all of that, then we're working into the permits and the drawings, plot plans.
All the engineering,
There we go.
all the site plans, everything that the LEA, local enforcement agency, needs to approve a permit for a tiny home. So,
Good.
yeah. That's what
That
we
way
do.
there's no question with anybody. They're saying, I don't know if I don't want to be doing something and
Right.
get in trouble for
Yes.
it. You
Yeah.
handle all
Yep.
that.
Yes.
Good.
Yes.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, your first step, that's why the bundle is so important. Your first step will tell you, is this a go or no go? Right? You want to know that right off the
Yeah.
bat.
Cool.
So you don't get yourself into a pickle. You also could buy a different size of home working with a permanent foundation system because there's some zoning that requires a certain size and it
Exactly.
usually is bigger than the Incredibox.
Right.
So people just need to know we're not trying to bust any bubbles here, but it may be a reality based on the zoning. So either you follow the rules or you go change the rules and then you do advocacy. So there's a whole nother world that I
Right.
teach people about with advocacy.
Exactly. Now, so what's your jurisdiction? What's your area of
37 states, and I can't remember them all right now.
37 states? All right. So you'll come.
Primarily, okay, I'm in California, but I work in Arizona all the time. So California, Arizona, definitely right now, and we can expand.
So
Because the initial site survey is done virtually.
yeah.
We can, you know,
Yeah,
when
we
you
can
have
do it
25 years of knowing how to set these things, you know what to look for in the zoning
Sure.
codes.
Right.
And every parcel's different.
So if we need to go east of Mississippi, we'll get you there somehow, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Got it.
Yeah.
And
I
we
like
love the
South.
Incredibox. It's amazing. In fact, one of my VIP tour people that came through found her community and just bought a Credibox today.
All right.
Yes, exactly.
Good
I was like,
deal.
you got to go check these guys out.
Thank you.
Yep.
Yep. They've been doing really good here at the
Well, I'm a
show.
sales rep with you guys. Did you know there's a program to sign on with? If you love the Incredibox, you got to go sign on and be a salesperson.
Yep. You get a
Share
4-digit
the
number, you can share
message.
it. Yep. And you make $500 a house. If you sell 20, you get a house for free.
Boom, right? You can sell 20.
We're doing it, guys.
All right.
Thank you,
High
guys.
five.
Yeah. You're the.
guys.
You know what? You're the missing link.
He's
to-
the missing link.
Yeah.
We're all missing links
yeah,
to each other.
Because a lot of people ask me, how do I know if my place where I'm living or I want to put my home is legal?
Yes.
And they don't want to put it on
That's where
there,
I come
and
in,
they're
yeah.
saying, I'm scared they're going to haul it off.
Yep, exactly. We don't want that scenario. So
No,
we want
no.
successful sales at the end of the day.
And we need to
Beautiful.
educate, right? There's all kinds of jargon in every industry.
Mm-hmm.
It's just new jargon. That's all. But it happens to be involving the building standard and the zoning laws. They got to talk to each other if
Now-
you want to do it legally.
Now, what happened? We just heard the news about Santa Cruz.
Yes.
Do you know anything about that?
Yes.
So
yes,
Santa Cruz
because
said it's a
Mendocino
primary.
County's next.
Now, which one of those in Santa Cruz will those work with?
All of them.
All of them.
All of them, because IRC and HUD were already allowed.
Yeah. Okay.
Some areas may not allow it as a primary. It gets a little complicated.
So now that became primary.
This became primary.
Ain't that something?
Yeah, that's something. You know why? Because in the history of our country, we've usually done exclusionary tactics with zoning and practices, and now we're more inclusive with this.
Nice.
So more cities and counties, states can pass this kind
Now
of
I
stuff.
heard Oakland, California had that. Did it go through?
They allow it, I know they allow it as an RV and a tiny home in the backyard, but I think I heard that you can also do it as a primary.
Primary.
But Oakland's pretty packed, like
I
it's
know.
very built.
Yeah.
Santa Cruz County, a lot of land.
Really?
A lot more land, yeah.
So if you're in Santa Cruz County, get you a $25,000 house, and you can live as a primary dwelling.
And guess what's gonna happen next? Mendocino County, where I live. So when that happens, think wine and weed. That's what we grow up there.
That's Napa Valley?
That is next to Napa Valley. We're closer to the ocean.
Really?
Yeah, on the 101, straight up north.
Wow. Is
There
that
we go.
near Jenner? You know where
Jenner is Mendocino County.
That is. We got a
No,
house
you
in
know
Jenner.
what? No, that's Sonoma. It's just north.
Okay.
Or, yeah.
Yep. Awesome. I
Yeah.
love that cut.
So that's next. That will be an ADU, a tiny home as
Yep.
an ADU, these two. So I say the word tiny home, it's a marketing term. Don't get fooled by that. You're
Right.
always going to want to talk about these standards.
Right.
Because the city planners and officials don't talk tiny home. A van is a tiny home.
I know it.
That's a tiny
exactly.
home. That's
They
a
freak
tiny
out
home.
when you say tiny home,
Yeah,
don't they?
exactly.
All
They
of
just,
them do.
you
get all
got to talk
confused.
the language of which the building standard was built to.
Yep.
And
Yes.
for anyone that thinks that they can just put something somewhere, take the wheels off, and that it transforms the standard, not so, unless you get Dave with his permanent foundation systems, knowing what he's talking about with the jurisdiction, right?
And the building code. We have to certify that the building code is met. Okay,
Right.
so- and we do that
To
too.
fit the home in the jurisdiction.
Yeah.
Yep.
Awesome.
So
do
if
that
not if, it's how.
Yeah, no, and we don't like to say no. So there's very few no's in this industry all of a sudden, okay? So sometimes there's a no. If you have an apartment and you want a tiny home, probably not going to work, okay?
I
so,
got
but
ya.
everything else is going to work.
We'll make it work.
Yeah, we'll make it work.
See, that's what I've always
Yep.
thought. It's
Yeah.
like, man, there's a way of making this thing.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. But
Guaranteed.
you know, when you're so busy building, when you're so busy doing,
I don't have time to do what you guys are doing.
exactly.
Yeah.
And I don't have time to do
I'm
what
glad
you're doing.
Yep.
There we go.
Yep.
I love it.
love building.
It's
yeah.
great. And I love that you've got like a reusable, recyclable product from another industry
Yeah.
that you're building these units with. I
Yes.
just love
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
Yep.
That's sustainability at its core.
You got it. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
All right, subscribe to the channel.
Bye. See you guys.
Go Tiny TV.